7.
Oops. Oh, well.
Hello, everybody. Got Shelby, got Matt. How's everybody doing tonight? Shelby, how you feeling?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. It's game week. There's no
Matt,
bye football.
let us hear it. How you feeling?
I mean, how could you be feeling bad as a Vols fan? Went in there, took care of business like I told you we would. Didn't matter if Bryce Young played, like I said it didn't. We're not going 9-3, so whenever you want to cash out that $20, welcome to it.
Send it to me. I got you.
All the shit talking, fucking Dakota talking, poverty program, can't hang with us. Right there to you. I told you what was going to happen, and it's what we do. Tennessee is back.
Oh, God. That might be the kiss of death right there.
No. There is no curse. Peyton Manning was on the sideline for an Alabama win. I promise you the curses are over.
That's true. I thought about you when I saw that. I was like, it's going to be Peyton Manning's fault.
No, we're done with curses. The hype train is rolling, and it ain't stopping for nobody.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Oh, my
It's
God.
not, but
I'm just hoping for like a shoe toss or something to purge that, like so that you guys can feel what we felt in 2020 when you felt like you were back and things were rolling, and then you lose a game you shouldn't, and then some dipshit does something they shouldn't. That's really what, deep down, as an angry, bitter Florida fan, that's what I'm rooting for Tennessee season. But that's just haterade flowing through my veins. I can acknowledge it. I don't have to try and deny it at this point.
So let me ask you a question real quick. Assuming, which I know you probably don't want to assume this, but let's be honest. Assuming Georgia takes care of business and it's Tennessee-Georgia undefeated matchup, as a Florida fan, who do you cheer for? Or who do you cheer to lose for the least? Or the most? However that's supposed to be worded.
words.
So usually it would be Tennessee, but this year it's Georgia.
You would want Georgia to. I confused myself.
I want you guys to lose to Georgia and preferably one other team at least, maybe two more teams, so that I can keep my 9-3. But I don't see that happening at this point. But this season. Do what?
Who else would they lose to?
Vandy.
They're still praying to God Kentucky's a competent.
I say Kentucky, maybe. Georgia, maybe. But who else is left? Vandy?
I'm telling you. I'm putting this negative Tennessee hating energy into the universe. Tennessee or Vandy or South Carolina or one of those teams that has no business beating you guys. You guys drop one. That's my negative Florida fan energy being cast into the universe right there.
That's
it has to be 7 shoes.
Pick Tennessee, lose to Alabama. Negative energy don't matter. We're over that.
Are you? See, but this is my thing is, at what point do Tennessee fans remember that being 6-0 or 7-0 is not being back?
It's when we're 12-0. When we're 12-0, it doesn't. We're back.
But you're not 12-0
yet.
Yet. Oh.
Yet. That sounds like a proclamation right there. That's a declaration of intent.
Things are trending so much different. You're not. 2016, you were 5-0. You beat a top 25 Florida team who wasn't great. Appleby sucks. You beat Kirby Smart's first year Georgia. They lost to Vandy. Did those wins feel good? Of course they did. You were way too good for the games to be as close as they were. This time, you're 6-0 and it's different. Down year, whatever it may or may not be, you beat Alabama. Alabama's a top 5 team. No matter how down they might be, you went into a game and you beat the consistently best team in college football for the last 15 years. What's going on? And so things are different. It's a real 6-0. It's not a you haven't played anybody yet. It's a you've knocked off 4 top 25 opponents. You bludgeoned 2 of them. I'm sorry, you bludgeoned 1 of them. You should have bludgeoned Florida. You gave them a chance to come back. You're up 17 with 5 minutes left. And then you took care of business on the road against Pitt. And then you beat Bama. You beat Bama. And you weren't a team with a loss. You weren't a team who didn't do enough and upset Bama. You went in there and you beat Bama because you were the better team.
Okay, I see.
So just Shelby, recap 2021 for me. How did you feel after you beat Bama?
I was confused. As excited as I was, I sat there and I was like, how did we beat Bama?
And why were you confused?
Because we weren't good.
Thank you. That's the difference.
So a not good Texas A&M winning by 3 tells you that Tennessee winning by 3 with their best team of all time means you're back?
This may or may not be our best team of all time.
Recent memories. Yeah, definitely not of
Oh,
all
I mean,
time.
best team since, I mean, you'd have to go 98, maybe 01. Let's see how things shake out. But you knew it was fluky with A&M. Nobody picked A&M. Nobody said A&M's a really good team, and I could see them coming in here and knocking Bama off. We all love that they did, but nobody saw that. Nobody honestly saw, yeah, this team is a great team that matches up with them. That's a fluky upset.
We beat Bama this year.
Do what?
We almost beat Bama this year, though. So what does that say about Bama? Because A&M is not good.
Well, for one, it says a healthy Bryce Young came back and still got his ass smacked by the Vols.
So did you get a good look at the goalposts? I heard through the grapevine that the goalposts were actually too narrow, and that's the only reason why Bama's kicker missed.
There's a whole lot of reasons the Bama fans want to say
Did you get a chance to look at it before they threw it in the river?
No, I had a chance to. Well, before I got to the river, yeah, I had a chance to look at it on the field in Neyland Stadium when I was helping them carry it out.
Did it look legit? Did it feel, was it appropriately weighted?
Oh, absolutely. Everything I know about goalposts.
You're a coach, so I mean, you have insight into this.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I do.
Oh, good Lord.
So you were at Neyland. What is this? Was this the most insane game you've ever been to? Walk me through it. Let's give us a recap of this.
It wasn't even close. So I get there, I go home Friday, and there's a buzz. There is a pregame buzz Friday.
I thought you said bus at first. I was like, okay, you went home and there's a bus.
No, a buzz. You can feel it. You can feel the buzz in the air. Saturday I get up. I'm at tailgate 11:15-ish. It is a madhouse. It is a madhouse. People are ready. Orange out, which don't wear white to the stadium. Wear orange. You should do that anyway. If you want to have a special whiteout game like Penn State does, that's cool. We should be wearing orange. But that's neither here nor there. We got an orange out, place electric. So I went to Knoxville without a ticket. I thought, whatever it is, when I wake up that morning, I'll buy a ticket, I'll go. Grace of God, my uncle has season tickets with a buddy. Buddy and his wife are at the beach with their brand new grandbaby. So I got 2 tickets on the 11th row in the lower bowl. So I'm in.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, you can imagine I'm excited.
Yeah.
So it's me and my brother. We go in. Of course, we're talking. I go buy the cigars Friday night. I said, we're going to smoke them. We're going to have them. We're sitting there 11th row. I said, no matter what happens, we are getting on that field after we win. So, Gunners Electric obviously jump up 28-10. Place is fucking wild, going crazy. And, everybody's sitting there going, are we going to boat race? Are we going to boat race them? I had the foresight to know. I said, no, they're going to make this close. We're not getting out of here. Maybe you can win by 10, I thought. You run away with a late touchdown to kind of seal it. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But you knew they'd come back. They come back. God, our secondary's horrible. It's horrible. But Jahmyr Gibbs drops that pass the last drive, and I know. I'm like, that's it. We've won this game. There's no way an Alabama kicker's hitting a 50-yarder. All right, that's as true as any page in the gospel. Alabama does not hit game-winning 50-yard field goals. All right, we go through 15 seconds left, and this is the best part of the whole game, obviously, with a win. But he makes the play to Keaton over the middle. You're about 50, 48-yard line, whatever. Makes the play to Brew McCoy, gets you set up. I don't know if y'all have seen the replay. That was the worst-looking field goal ever made. Okay, the way the stadium's set up, I'm in the north end zone on the right side. The right side. The Alabama section is on the left side. You see how horrible that kick is? The first people you hear scream is the Alabama fans. Because they know he just missed it. They know he just hit a knuckleball straight in the goalpost. So you hear them cheering, everybody else completely silent. That ball clears. It is a madhouse. I'm crying. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. I'm crying. I'm hugging my brother. I'm hugging the dude next to me. I'm hugging the dude behind me. I'm hugging everybody. And I see the first fan jumps. Second fan jumps. I said, Jackson, run. My little brother takes off down there. We're like 15 seats in. We take off, getting down, pushing, shoving. I woke up the next day. I got hit so many times. I got bruises all over my body. But I could not feel them. But those fireworks go off. We broke. I think we hit 124 is the decibel record now in Neyland. Hit 124. Place is a madhouse. You can't hear yourself think. You're just screaming, crying, freaking out. We get down on the field right as the first goalpost goes down. But we're on the north side where the second goalpost is going down. So me and my brother are right in the thick of it. And at this point, I'm damn near blacked out, just of joy and Jim Beam and cigar smoke and everything else.
Just the whole combo.
Yeah, I'm going crazy. Players are out on the field celebrating. Bama fans have made it off by the time I get on there. But we're just, walking it around. We're going in a circle with the goalpost, just around the stadium. And so they can break enough pieces off to walk it out the ambulance exit.
So, okay, I'm pretty sure it was on game day. I saw something where they were talking about how, what's his name, Danny White,
Yes.
had already ordered another goalpost in case y'all had won. Was there like a designated plan amongst the fans? Like you said, the ambulance exit. I'm assuming that's kind of the logical choice, but like, was there any, instructions from fans on like, hey, this is what we're going to do first, is we're going to do second? Like you were talking about, like a whiteout, to where it may not, with things like this, the school can't come out and tell you how to break down the goalpost. But was that something talked about on Ball Twitter?
How to do this?
Yeah, were there any diagrams?
Well, it happened in '98 much more organically when we beat Florida in overtime. So all week on Twitter, on Facebook, on everything, we win this game, we do the same thing. Now, that was only one goalpost being torn down. We took both down. And if you look at the videos, we're passing the other one up the lower bowl. It's going up the stadium. Just fans still in there passing it around the stadium. But yes, it was a coordinated effort. You knew exactly where in the river. It's the same spot the '98 one is. Security had to know. There was a bunch of security there, but all of them were taking videos, because I kept telling people this. They're like, what did security not try to stop us? Security had two choices: get out the way or get sent to the hospital, because we were coming.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, that's one of those things. In a stampede, sometimes you just got to back up and let it happen.
Yeah.
And you though, those last minute field goals to beat Bama, there's divine intervention on those. Because like Seth Smalls had no business going in. No business.
Well, see, Chase McGrath has been electric.
We're like, okay, sure. All
right. Chase McGrath has been pretty good this year. He went 4 of 5, missed a 53-yarder just right, or maybe just left, against LSU. he's a really good field goal kicker. He missed the extra point. I still can't tell. I've looked at every angle of that video, and it looks like it should have been blocked, but nobody can tell for sure if it was blocked.
You know the last field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought when maybe it wasn't. I know watching it, I think it's number 47. It looked like he jumped over the snapper and got a fingertip on it. But when I watched it, honestly, my first thought was it didn't matter was because I thought it was gonna be a penalty because the dude jumps over the snapper before he gets his head up.
Well, see, and I
So
wondered that too.
maybe he was actually over the guard right next to him. I didn't, it's kind of the Florida game had started as this game was wrapping up, so I'm like hectically going back and forth trying to watch the end of this game and then watch mine. But yeah, I mean that's what it looked like to me. I honestly I think if he would have missed it, I think they would have just called a flag and y'all would have got kicked again.
I think so too,
Personally.
and I didn't see a flag thrown, and I don't think it mattered. Once that went
Yeah.
through,
It
and there
did,
wasn't
yeah.
a penalty on Tennessee, the refs booked it out of there because
Yeah.
we were on the field.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, there ain't no way they're going to go back out there and try and push all these people back in the stands so they can announce a declined jumping the snapper penalty.
No, and if the penalty had been on us, I don't think it would. I don't know what you do if the penalty had been on us. Because as soon as it went over, we were out there.
Yeah, maybe not with the crowd the size of Neyland, but that's happened where they've just like rushed the field and then they realize that there was a holding penalty or something, and
they would have had to do something. God bless those poor souls.
Yeah,
we'll throw mustard bottles on correctly called fourth down failed conversion. You don't want that in your life.
Yeah, you don't. They made a business decision right there.
100%. But it was. I mean, it was. I really can't describe how I felt. It was obviously the best game I've ever been to. The only things in Tennessee history that could top it are really that '98 season. I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not. And my dad, he went to UT and he was there for the '98 game, and he said that Alabama beat it by far. I mean, it was euphoric. It was euphoric in every way. You finally beat that team that you just can't get over. You do it in a dramatic fashion. And, I mean, we can talk and we can argue about is Tennessee back? Is Tennessee for real? I mean, I don't think anybody at this point can argue this is a damn good team. Without an implosion, this is a shoe-in for a playoff team. Maybe you end up that 5 or 6, but if you take care of everything you take care of and all you do is lose to Georgia, you still have a chance at the playoff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And, I mean, I understand there's frauds that make the playoff, but not in the SEC. Because a fraud can't make it all the way because you played too many good teams. We played 2 teams, the 2 best teams, and 2 of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country, and we just knocked off 1. We playing with house money now.
So I think we talked about this a little bit last night, but there's a hypothetical scenario to where you have a 1-loss Ole Miss, a 1-loss Bama, a 1-loss Georgia, and a 1-loss Tennessee. Well, no, I had that wrong. A 1-loss Tennessee, you lose to Georgia. Georgia loses to Bama in the SEC championship game, and then Ole Miss loses to Bama in the regular season. So you have 4 1-loss SEC teams. How do you choose that? So I mean, Bama would have to get 1, right, if they win the SEC with 1 loss. But then you have Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee with 1 loss.
I think the way you have to look at it is if Georgia makes it, it feels like they need to be the team. I think Ole Miss is out because the only common opponent Ole Miss and anybody has is with Tennessee, and that's Alabama. We beat them, they didn't, they're out.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think Ole Miss it's just a one of the scenarios I've seen people talking about is that.
Well, now people are having the real conversation. Things have to shake out crazy, but we've had crazier. Can things shake out where you have 3 SEC teams Now, I think people in the committee would not let it happen to not let it happen. But
Yeah,
there could be a point where Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia have a good argument. It would take probably a 2-loss Clemson versus just a 1-loss Clemson. And, Ohio State or Michigan, whichever wins that game gets in. And I guess the other one's competing with that Tennessee or Georgia team. But, I mean, there's a lot of ways it could shake out.
yeah. I think the one thing I saw that was 100% true was if there are 3 SEC teams in the playoffs, then we will definitely have a 12-team playoff within the next 2 seasons.
They'll fast track it to the next year, I believe.
Yeah. And I mean, I honestly, if you ask me, I think the 4 best teams are Georgia, Tennessee, Bama, and Ohio State. I think Clemson is right on that edge. I'm not sure if they have the offense to keep up with the other 4 teams. Like Georgia's offense may not be as explosive as OSU, Tennessee, and Bama's, but I mean they're going to get theirs. I mean they may not throw it 80 yards down the field, but they're going to, they have a very efficient, good offense. But I just don't think Clemson can keep up with those. But that's going to be kind of rough because I think Clemson is going to go undefeated. I mean they just don't really have a tough schedule in front of them.
Well, and that's the thing. The only other undefeated team in the ACC is Syracuse, and they're going to have to get there for me to believe it because that just
Well,
seems
they
like
play each other this week, so
Oh, is that this week?
yeah. So we'll have our answer.
Let's go Orange.
Which one?
The
Orange
Orange.
Men?
Syracuse Orange. But
You heard it here first. It's not Tennessee. It's not the Orange. You heard it
There's
here
too much.
first.
There's too much orange.
That's a lot of orange.
never too much orange.
I will not wear that gaudy orange. It's not in my color. I will not wear it.
But I feel like there's 3 teams that are as good / better / can win. Obviously, things can happen and anybody can upset anybody in college football. But I only think there's 3 teams that are good enough with their A game to beat Tennessee on their A game. And that's Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. I think Michigan is a really good Big Ten team that when you play a team that's not a Big Ten team, you get railed because you're not fast enough, you're not athletic enough, you can't pass it well enough. You're a team who can beat Wisconsin. Congratulations.
Yeah, they kind of got exposed last year. They finally, at least OSU could be competitive because I mean they have those guys, but Michigan got waxed.
I think Tennessee, Ohio State be a fun game. It'd be
Definitely bet the over.
115 to 118.
God.
I don't know that there's an over you could set where I'm not taking it.
Especially in that game, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I tell you, the only thing I could even think of about, like, we're going back to, like, stopping people from rushing the field is the Kentucky basketball game my sophomore year, my junior year. We were rushing the court and they stopped they like put arms out. People like they had people all around the court putting arms out because they had to relook at the last shot to make sure it went in on time or what have you. We were all like I was sitting like probably where the line is right here and I was sitting right there. Okay. Did it go in? Did it go in though? Like I need you to figure it out. Oh, that was a fun time, man. And even then, I can't even imagine trying to stop people at a football stadium.
No, not a chance.
No.
Yeah, too many people.
Of course, A&M did it, and I still can't believe my sister wasn't there as a student last year.
I'm not a student. There was no way I wasn't getting on that field.
She straight up told me she would have been on third deck, and she's like, Shelby, I wouldn't have rushed the field. And I said, you're doing it wrong. You run down those ramps faster than anybody's ever run down them ramps before.
I got punched by an old lady in my section because we nudged her too much.
That's why you don't sit in the first section, in the lower bowl of a game that big if you don't want to be part of rushing the
Well,
field.
that's what they're like. They're like, slow down, have some courtesy. It's like,
Are you serious? No.
man, grow up.
God.
Have
Stand on your
some
seat,
courtesy.
hug each other tight, and pray you don't fall. That's all. That's the only chance you got.
Yeah.
And then, that goalpost going down to Dixieland Delight in the background, which, of course, as we all know, is a song about East Tennessee, written by a guy who was in East Tennessee when he wrote it. I don't care what the band's name is. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. It's a song about East Tennessee. And Alabama should be ashamed if they ever played again after what we did to them. For us to rush the field and tear the goalpost with it playing in the background, it's not yours anymore. If you played against Mississippi State, you are officially a cuck. Straight up.
You guys have lost 15 straight games to them, and then
Does
you
not
win
matter.
once, and now you're saying that they can't play the song anymore?
It's our song.
Th-
Sully, baby, I'm the fucking captain now.
These guys,
It's about
man,
East Tennessee.
bro,
It's about
you,
Dandridge.
I promise you, I am not getting into that battle because I do not care. Y'all can fight over Dixieland Delight all day long. I will be down here listening to Tom Petty and enjoying life. I don't care. We have Tom Petty and Leonard Skinner. I'm good with those two, and we'll let y'all battle it out over Dixieland Delight.
The battle's over.
The battle is over,
When
man.
you
This
get
guy
beat,
is
when you get
throwing
beat,
haymakers.
and that rival can play it over their speakers, over the fireworks,
But haven't they done
surrounding
that to y'all 15 years in a row?
2 goalposts going down. It's about Tennessee. That's what makes it different.
But
We
but
took
they
it. We
Bama doesn't rush
grabbed
the
it from
field
them.
when they beat Tennessee because they do it every year.
It's
So
not.
that's kind of an irrelevant factor.
You've taken the song from them. You made it yours. You reclaimed it.
It was never yours to claim.
Do what?
You say you reclaimed it like it was yours to start with.
It's about us. It is ours. It is ours.
So if it's y'all's, why didn't y'all win in the past 15 years to take it back from them?
It's our song. Because we've had shitty ass coaches. We had Derek Dooley, who the last time he's been on camera was Saturday night in the concourse eating fucking
Eating some
spaghetti
pizza
in
or
a
spaghetti.
suit. We have
I
Butch
saw-
Jones, who's got that one picture of him smoking a cigar. You can tell, well, family show, I won't go that far. You can tell he does not know how to smoke a cigar. All right? And he's doing it. He wants to
Because
pose
y'all
the
never
players.
won. If y'all had won for him, he would have known how to smoke a cigar
If
when
he
he went to
wasn't-
Saban's coaching
We had
academy.
2 years where we were playoff caliber teams. That junior and senior year of Josh Dobbs, we should have beat Florida in the swamp on the 4th and however fucking many it was. We should have beat Oklahoma at home. We should have beat Arkansas at home. We had Bama on the ropes at Alabama. We finally beat the worst thing that ever happened to the University of Tennessee was the Smoky Gray game when we were down 21-3 and we came back and we beat Georgia. It's the worst thing that ever happened because it gave Butch Jones one more year when what we could have done is fired his ass and brought in a competent coach to coach that senior class. It would have been the best thing that ever happened.
What year was
Preach.
losing to A&M? What year was that?
That was the next year when we started 5-0 and went down. We turned it over 7 times, came back, took it to overtime. Josh Heupel, both of those years, back-to-back SEC champs. Point blank, period.
Well, yeah, those were some awful teams you'd be going against.
Maybe
I'm pretty sure that we split in 2016. I'm pretty sure Florida and Tennessee split the SEC East or something because
because we dropped the South Carolina game, and then we lost to fucking Vanderbilt the last game because we knew that the SEC had been lost when LSU couldn't score. Y'all made the goal line stand against LSU.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I was at the Missouri-Tennessee game, and, everybody's we're already up like 30 points. So everybody's checking. All anybody cares about is does LSU win that game? Because if LSU wins, we control our own destiny.
No, it was at the end of the year. We had to reschedule the game.
Yeah, Missouri was our second to last game. So y'all were on a bye. Y'all would have been on a bye or whatever it was, or y'all bought out of your homecoming opponent.
Yeah.
Whatever weird scenario it was the very end. All we had left is to beat Missouri and Vanderbilt, but y'all had to lose to LSU. And when y'all beat them, the energy in that stadium dropped. The place was dead by halftime. We still won. But then we went and lost to Vandy at Vandy.
God, that game was so bad. It ended up not even mattering, man. And that was that game, dude. Like, that's honestly the reason why a lot of Florida fans just hate LA. Like in 2016 is when a lot of the heat picked up in that game because of all the bullshit that went down. But bad Florida team went to the SEC championship game, got absolutely demolished by Alabama, and yeah. It's kind of, what's funny is when you're saying that about Butch Jones, the same thing happened with Mullen, to where that 2020 win over Georgia made people think that he was a better coach than he was, and then the school, instead of firing him that year, and all of my dumbass fans like myself are like, "Oh, hey, we're back," and then we shoe toss and lose to Texas A&M, and it was just an embarrassment. But Georgia, man, I'm telling you, Georgia is the sleeper agent in the SEC. They plant these people in different schools. Will Muschamp, whoever Tennessee wants to point to, but Will Muschamp for us was a secret agent that destroyed our program for
See,
Georgia.
I have had the same thing about Alabama. You send, really, I've always blamed Nick Saban. We hired Dooley, Saban disciple. He brings in to save his year, the last year he gets fired, he brings in Sal Sinceri. We hired Dave Hart to be our athletic director, and then Jeremy Pruitt. Alabama guys come in and they destroy our program. And they take a whole bunch of money when they walk out, except Pruitt's cheating gump ass. He's going home with nothing. And I want them to show cause his ass so Nick Saban can't fire Pete Golding and bring his ass back to Tuscaloosa.
But if they show cause, wouldn't that inflict punishment on Tennessee?
No, you can show cause when Donnie Tyndall did all his shit to our basketball program, we turned him in as soon as we found out, and they gave him a 10 or 15 year show cause, and we faced no penalties.
Well, yeah, but this is definitely, you guys already have like 18 level 1 allegations. This is like the NCAA's already told you guys what you've done wrong, but they just haven't decided on the punishment yet.
Well,
and it includes stuff like institutional control. That's not just like the head coach.
Well, we didn't get institutional control. That was the one thing we were able to avoid.
We look at these sanctions. Anyways, nothing's going to happen to you guys. You guys are going to get a slap on the wrist. You're going to get a bowl ban next year.
See, I don't think we're getting a bowl ban. I think what we did is we purposely signed under the limit. There were transfers that people didn't understand why we slow played them. I think we've behind the scenes talked to the NCAA and said, we're doing this. We're handcuffing ourselves this way, this way, this way. And it's all been recruiting and scholarships that we haven't filled. And I guess the hope, obviously, is that the SEC says Tennessee agreed to take this many scholarship losses over this many years. We're honoring that. It's over because as soon as the institution found out, they fired everybody. They reported it. They let us in. Of course, the teams who do that usually get punished the worst. It's the teams that tell the NCAA to fuck off that usually get away. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out because I feel like it's weird because if what happened today instead of 2 or 3 years ago, it probably nobody would even care about it because we know it's going on regardless. You guys just got caught doing it, but with inducements and NIL and all that stuff, nowadays they would probably be getting all the same stuff they got then, and it's not illegal now. But I feel like if the NCAA does just slap you guys on the back of the hand, then we already know that. At least I feel like the NCAA is just pointless at this point. They can't enforce anything. They're already being overridden by state laws. The SEC and Big Ten are doing their own thing. I think it's just a matter of time until the NCAA just decides, hey, big boy football can go do this under whatever you want to call yourself. We're going to stick to FCS and whatever.
Well, and see, I agree with you, and I think that's eventually and I think that's why we're not going to get in trouble is if you're Greg Sankey, you've got to be, when you're on the phone with the NCAA discussing Tennessee, it's like, look, you've given slaps on the wrist for this. You start fucking with our teams now that things are going out of your control, we'll be gone tomorrow. We don't have
But
to
see,
change.
I
The
agree.
SEC is
I
bigger
agree
than
with
the
that.
NCAA.
Yeah, for sure. And the Big Ten and the SEC are they both have more power. I think the Big Ten's a little bit more willing to play by the rules than the SEC is, but both of those conferences, the NCAA does what they want them to do. I mean, they don't. It doesn't work the other way around.
Right.
I feel like it's just right now things are kind of precarious with like the Nico deal and Texas A&M, and I have two very good guests here to talk about NIL and bringing good recruits to town. I feel like the rules are you can't use it to induce. Yeah, I agree, Matthew. Big Ten does suck. It is not very good, but they make a lot of money. They even make more money than the SEC. But I feel like it's just going to open the floodgates for NIL. I mean, if Tennessee gets caught and doesn't get a punishment for paying players, essentially, and the only kind of rule is you can't pay players until they get to campus, then I think people are just going to be like, okay, well, why are we going to listen to this now? Like, what's the point? And then just the floodgates open even more.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, it can't be used as inducement, but how in the hell else can you have the discussion about it without it being inducement?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like, so if we're using Nico, I don't know what the rule is in Tennessee, but in California, high school players can receive NIL. They can be paid for their NIL. So I don't know what the law is in Tennessee. I know in Florida, it's against the law to do it. So if you get
It
caught,
is here too.
yeah, I knew that there were a few states that were like that. So how could you possibly enforce a kid who lives in a state taking money from somewhere else to do something that's legal where he is? And I mean, I don't know, it just creates a quagmire that I don't think the NCAA wants to pick that fight.
No,
And if they
and
do, they're gonna lose.
I'm still not sure. I know Tennessee high school athletes cannot be paid. What I don't know, what I'm not clear on, is can Tennessee pay the out of state athletes? Or because the institution is in Tennessee, they also can't do that. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, so that's it. I've tried figuring this out. Like I said, I know Florida's law, and we have a statute to where the school the school can't do it if they're a state of Florida school, but also none of the high school students can do it either.
I think
But
that's us, but I don't know for sure.
I know some states haven't passed a law for it yet, or they've passed less restrictive or more restrictive laws, whatever. But in the states that haven't, they're essentially following the NCAA's guideline. Well, the NCAA's guidelines is, hey, don't break these rules. But then you have other states to where their rule is allowed by law. And so then you get into well, if we try and fight this, then we're going to have to deal with them going to the state level and saying, how can this corporation enforce a rule that's legal by state law in this state? I mean, I think to me, that's one of the biggest failures of the NCAA is that this thing has been coming for a while, and the NCAA tried to fight it and try to bury their head in sand, and they just didn't get in front of it. And then states and Supreme Court start making rules and precedents and laws that say, yeah, you can't restrict this stuff. And then the NCAA is just left with nothing in their hand because they tried to play hardball and lost, and now they're just so weak compared to what they were 10 or 15 years ago that they might as well just hand it over to somebody else. That's my opinion. All right, you guys want to get started on some picks?
Let's do it.
Started.
All right, we'll start at the top. This one should be quick and easy. UT Martin, Tennessee. Who you got, Matthew?
I hate to do it, but I'm picking the Vols.
Oh, that's a
I know, man.
shocker.
It's such a hard pick.
Yeah, that one's tough.
We're carrying on Alabama Hate Week. It's damn nearby because it doesn't matter. And their coach, Jason Simpson, father of Alabama freshman Ty Simpson, who picked Alabama over Tennessee, rumor has it that when Pruitt was still on staff, still the head coach, Jason Martin was going to become our running backs coach. And in turn, Ty Simpson was going to become a Vol. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to run with the theory that because Simpson didn't get a head coaching job or a position coaching job at the University of Tennessee, he pushed his son to Alabama. So it's an extension of Alabama Hate Week. Fuck Coach Simpson. Run the score up. You put Hendon Hooker in there until he throws 10 touchdowns. Then get him out. Let's lock this Heisman down.
All right. What just to make it a little interesting, what score would you consider unsatisfactory or satisfactory? What if you eke out like an ugly like 37-22 game? How would you be feeling?
If they score more than 10 and we score less than 49, I'll be pissed.
Okay, that's fair. I completely get that one. All right, yeah,
Unless, with the small caveat for us scoring anyway, that we pull Hendon early and we are literally just running it out because we have some banged up players. But no
fair.
more than 10 points for them. And let's say I need 28 by half, and then we'll see how the second half plays out based on how you play it.
All right. I agree with that. I think Tennessee's going to roll that one, obviously. All right. So this one, I've been looking at this one throughout the day because you don't usually see this. Number 7, Ole Miss at LSU, but LSU is favored by 2 points.
I got LSU. Calling it. I don't buy into Ole Miss this year.
I tend to think LSU's figuring some things out. I've got to agree. I don't think Ole Miss pulls off a win in Death Valley.
Yeah. So I'm going to ramble a bit here. Shocking, I know. At the beginning of the season, Purdue and Penn State played, and Purdue did everything they could to let Penn State come back in that game. Particularly, it was like 6 minutes left in the game. They were up like 10 points, and they had the ball 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. They ran a series, I think they got 1 first down, 3 and out, whatever. Punt the ball back to Penn State, stop Penn State, get the ball back, right? So then there's like 3.5 minutes left in the game. They proceed to throw it 3 times in a row, go 3 and out. Penn State gets the ball back, comes back and scores. So all seasons long, I've thought about how bad Purdue is and how close Penn State came to losing to them. And it skewed my perception of how good Penn State is and how bad they are after they got whooped. But I feel the same way about Florida, to where I watch them and I feel like I give them too much credit because I feel like our defense makes everybody look like a Heisman contender. And that's the only thing that gives me pause about this game, is that LSU looked really, really good against us, but we make everybody look really, really good. And that worries me, that I think LSU's better than they are because we made them look that good. But I think Ole Miss is a fraud, and I think LSU wins this game too. This was at 1.5 when I looked earlier, so it looks like LSU's getting some action. I don't understand why they make spreads this close, but I'm not a gambling man. Somebody else can explain that to me.
Yeah, I'm not either.
It's all an algorithm.
Yeah,
I don't
-1.5,
pretend to know.
-2. It's like at that point, just flip a coin. Okay, so Vandy at Missouri. Missouri's favored by 14. I was looking. Vandy's quarterback was a mid-season freshman All-American by some publications. He's doing pretty well. I think Missouri rolls this game, though. I don't think Vandy does this. I think Drinkwitz is coaching for his job at this point.
I feel like a lot of coaches in the SEC right now are doing that. Well, at least not a lot, but a good handful. What's his name? What's his bucket from Auburn?
Harsin.
Yep. I already forgot his name, therefore he's not important.
I can't believe he hasn't been fired yet, but I say that every week. Who you got,
Yeah.
Matt? Vandy or Missouri?
Give me Missouri to cover. The real loser of this game is everybody who ends up watching any of it.
Well
Yes.
said.
Whoever
right.
voluntarily watches any of it. Some people will watch it because they like are fans, and that's fine. But if you
That
voluntarily,
means they're fans of those schools and they're losers too.
oh,
Sorry,
Well,
Bleeding Vandy. Sorry. Hell, I can't even call out John because he's an Ole Miss fan posing as our Mizzou super fan. But I remember the Mizzou podcast last year that talked all that shit, and 2 years ago that talked all that shit. Fuck you. Fuck Missouri fans. They don't belong in the SEC. They're not even a Big 12 school. They're a Mountain West school pretending to be Power 5.
yeah, we brought them with us. My bad. My bad.
Well,
But
I
they're still
mean,
better than Vandy.
yeah, I mean, at least we're gonna, get a good team from Texas finally.
Wow.
Who?
I'll remember that when we beat your ass in November, okay? I was gonna play nice, man. Are you going to College Station for that one?
Hell no.
I don't know why I thought you were.
No, I'm gonna be. That's the day after my birthday. I'm gonna get drunk.
Your defense may make you want to get drunk.
Yeah, I may have to just get preemptively drunk the night before and just stay drunk throughout the entire game so I can stomach it. Sorry, I'm sorry, Shelby. I didn't mean that. You guys are better than Texas. It was, sometimes the jokes just present themselves, and you have to take it.
Always take the joke.
Yeah, always. It's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
I'm an Aggie. I'm used to walking into jokes.
That's true.
We're pretty good at that.
All right, so we got number 24 Mississippi State and number 6 Bama. Bama's favored by 21. We kind of talked about this last night. Bama, the whole Saban's angry after a loss thing. I personally don't think that there's really any credibility to that. I don't think that it has anything to do with Saban being pissed off. I feel like every coach in the country is going to feel like a loss kind of wakes people up, makes them focus a little harder. Coaches kind of hone in on what they need to do, especially when you have stuff like 17 penalties. And then Saban already has an insane winning record. So a winning record after a loss is already going to be insane. I mean, it's just kind of a nothing burger to me. But I think Mississippi State's going to cover this 21 points. I think Bama wins, but 21 is pretty big, and I think Bama's going to be reeling a little bit. We'll see if they lock it back in and get rolling. But I think that loss took a lot out of them.
I said I don't have faith in Will Rogers, and I don't believe in Will Rogers, and then he made my team look stupid. So now I say nothing bad about Mississippi State.
That's smart, yeah. They'll get you.
I refuse to say anything bad about the team that I'm pretty sure we beat. They had Dak Prescott, and we lost to them with Dak Prescott, I think. And then after that, we beat them until Nick Fitzgerald happened, and that wasn't a fun time. And now Will Rogers is not a fun time.
I really took the words out of my mouth, Ethan. The whole Saban after a loss or Alabama disrespected. What tends to happen is you try to brew up an upset. You try to, when the king is reeling, you try to see if you can keep knocking him down. Fact of the matter is, Alabama wins those games because they're the better team. And I think the better team will win. I don't think they're 21 points better than Mississippi State. So I've got the same thing. I've got Mississippi State to cover, but Alabama to go out there and be the better team, win the game. And maybe that cheetah package that Alabama has, that one that got one pressure sack and no hurries on Hendon Hooker, maybe they'll do something this game on Will Rogers. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I know if I'm Mike Leach, I am scheming somebody onto number 2 from Bama and telling him run this same exact route Jalen Hyatt ran because I don't know how many. I know he had 5 touchdowns, but I know on at least 2 of them they were like 80-yard. He just motions to the inside, and you guys did something similar to us. Who did you guys play before Bama? I can't remember.
We played
But
LSU.
LSU, yeah. In that game, y'all did it to LSU, y'all did it to us, y'all did it to Bama, to where you line up, and then your slot guy lines up off, and then he motions from the outside to the end, and then he just takes off. And against us, our safety just did not adjust at all. Like literally, watched Brew McCoy run right past him. And then last weekend, at least Bama's safety recognized what was going on and covered Jalen Hyatt, or attempted to cover, because he just got burned like over and over again. Um, so that play alone, if I'm Mike Leach, I'm telling my wide receivers, we're gonna do this all night long. And if they cover it, okay, we're gonna do air raid stuff and throw it for 7 yards and just move down the field. Yeah, that one, I feel bad for the kid. He's not having a good time in film review, but he got burned over and over. He also made a pick though, so I mean, I guess it kind of makes up for it a little bit. All right, so Texas A&M at South Carolina. A&M's 3.5-point favorite. Shelby, tell us about your most hated rival.
My most hated rival? Man, I hate South Carolina. Hate. And there are South Carolina fans, Game Day Warrior not included, that take our hatred seriously. They're like, "Oh my God, A&M really hates us. Like we are on their mind all the time." And I'm like, "No, no one gives a shit about your existence, honey." But on that note, we've got this. And I refuse to believe anything else until South Carolina actually beats us.
That's fair. South Carolina has more ACC titles than Texas A&M and South Carolina combined have SEC titles.
That's not surprising. Who's A&M's side? Because, well, we don't have any.
Honestly, if you guys had, I know it geographically doesn't make any sense, but if we had swapped Missouri and Texas A&M at the time that you guys came into the division, you guys probably would have a national title by now.
Probably. And
or at least an SEC title.
And someone would still be here.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not a bad thing.
Because y'all came in what, 2012?
2012, yeah.
Yeah, so from 2012 until about 2018, maybe 2017, the East was definitely ripe for the taking, and you guys had some good teams during those years. But unfortunately, you guys just had to come to the SEC. I wish we could send South Carolina and Missouri somewhere else, honestly.
Well, South Carolina brings women's basketball.
Now.
And I mean, they've had baseball before too. They've had a good baseball team.
Missouri has what?
Nothing. They have nothing. They're a poverty program everywhere in a poverty state. Listen, their best teams come from a city named after the state next to them. That's how bad Missouri sucks. That's how bad they suck. The best thing about them is named after another freaking state.
The state they hate.
Yeah. There's nothing good about Missouri. St. Louis barbecue. Well, listen, it pains me to say that because I am a Cardinals fan. But if baseball ended tomorrow and I could never watch it again, I would not care. So it's kind of that's my team, but who gives a shit? But if the whole state was wiped off the map, nobody would care. Not really. Real Blues is in other places, not St. Louis. Go to Memphis, go to Louisiana, go to Mississippi. Barbecue, go anywhere south of Missouri. It's better everywhere else. They're the New York of the South. Fuck them.
Okay.
Yikes.
That's how Matt feels about
Tell us how you really feel, Matt.
I'm about to tell you how I really feel about A&M too.
Oh, okay. That's what I want to hear.
So we'll start off. just real quickly, you saying if we won a national championship, someone would still be our coach, so maybe it's not a bad thing. All you did was hire an older, countryer, whiter Kevin Sumlin. He's not any good. He's not a good coach. Jimbo Fisher rode off the back of some elite quarterbacks at FSU, riding off the back of a brand name of FSU. He's not a good coach. I mean, he's a good coach, but he's completely overrated. I told you the very first podcast I was on, Jimbo had just got that 1 year recruiting show cause for his improper contact. I told you right then, I said they should fire him for cause, save that big ass buyout, and it'll save him some pain in 2 to 3 years. Now, they may not fire him because of what they owe him, but he is going to continue to prove that he is an awful coach unless he has elite talent all around him. He's always had good quarterbacks. He hasn't developed those quarterbacks. And it starts this Saturday for real. The implosion starts with a loss to South Carolina for the first time since they joined the SEC. Mark it down.
Okay.
Let me.
Okay. Oh, he's going to make note of it. Like Matt's going to let me forget. If he is right, he will not let me forget it. Trust
I'll be
me.
back on next week talking shit. I don't care.
This is going to become Kate's never going to come back.
Kate's eventually, she's not going to be able to duck this smoke forever. She's not going to be able to duck this smoke forever.
Oh, Lord.
Man, this isn't fair, Shelby. I don't need a partner in Jimbo bashing because I could do it all. Everything this man just said about Jimbo, man, like you said, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like I've had this same conversation with Shelby, and I feel bad for it because I know that she just loves her Aggies, and I know that it's one of. I think Jimbo's a top 20 coach in the country. He's at a school to where they've invested and probably have the expectations of a top 5 school. And I don't know if Jimbo can get them back there. And I think that if he were to hand the offense over to somebody, you may have a different perspective on it, but I can't imagine an offensive coach who spent their entire coaching career coaching offense. Then they get to the highest pinnacle of their career and have to admit failure at that point. Like how even if he got an offensive coordinator, how much control and say in their offense is he going to have? I mean, 75%. He's going to want to approve plays. He's going to want plays going through him. And then at that point, you just have Jimbo. And you guys can't fire him. I don't know.
Won't fire him. It's monopoly money. Do what's best for the program. Too many schools don't do it. I just went through 15 fucking years of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had we're on our 4th coach in 8 years, so I can't even really. Our first instinct, as soon as something looks even remotely bad, is to just fire our coach and hire another one. So I can't even put myself in those shoes for Texas A&M. But I mean, I think Texas A&M is better than he's giving you credit for, and I think that you guys win. I really need you guys to be ranked, but also bad when we play, so that I can feel a little bit better about the season and my birthday weekend. I have no faith in that. What?
Record, Haynes King is playing. Jimbo said that he's fine and that he's playing, even though I think that he cracked something or broke something. But whatever.
A healthy Haynes King offensively is just as good as no Haynes King offensively.
Haynes King is an interesting animal that I am ready to transfer to SMU. That's all I have to say about that. But also, it's my birthday weekend, and I'm going to need us to win. I turned 27 on Monday, and I can't handle not a victory Monday because I already have to deal with the Cowboys losing to the Eagles last week, and Eagles fans won't shut up about it. So I need the Aggies to pull it. And nobody gives a shit about the Lions. So the Cowboys, I don't care. Plus, it's hockey season. So.
Man, so on that note, how much of an impact does what is your mood as the week progresses after a loss? For me, I told my wife before Saturday night that LSU is always the game that they're just it's such a gut punch somehow every year. This year it was just like just getting tied up and dragged behind a truck or something. I mean, they just didn't stop until well, I guess we didn't stop them until the halfway through the third quarter, and it just felt like just pain. Um, so for me, because we're kind of in a rebuilding, shitty type of season one of a new coach, my expectations are pretty tampered. But this is usually the point of the week to where I've moved on from being sad about a loss, and now I'm starting to get optimistic about the next game. But unfortunately for me, we have a bye week and then we have Georgia. So I just have 2 weeks of the most painful loss of the year so far, and then I have to look forward to getting our shit kicked in by Georgia.
To become
So
the second most painful loss.
yeah. So for you guys, like, how do you let it take an emotional toll on you, or how much does it wane as your night and week progresses?
I think it depends on who you lose to. Like that loss to App State, that hurt for a while.
I feel like you're still hurting from that, Shelby. And honestly, I'm trying to take it easy on you because I know that still hurts, and it just doesn't even feel right.
I'm just happy that our field goal kicker got replaced after that pretty ass kick that he called almost the game tying pick. That went. And I was like, Caden, the fuck was that? Honest to God, what the fuck was that? Never kick again. Just go away. Never again. And now they replaced him with a walk-on who has done 10 times better.
Walk-on kickers, they make the world go round.
Love walk-on kickers.
What about you, Matt? What's your emotional state after a loss?
Oh, here's the comment. Waiting for it.
It's been so long, I'm not sure how it feels anymore.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Hey, you throw me a meatball down the middle, I'm gonna knock
You
it
know, it was the long con. I was here for it the whole time, saving you for last, just letting you wind it up. You saw it coming down the middle. So
But
take me
honestly,
back to a time long ago,
Last year.
which pretty much any season before this one.
back when I was a young lad, and we lost to teams like Florida and Alabama.
Simpler
No,
times.
I agree with Shelby. It depends a lot who you lose to. I think back to 2016, you lost to A&M. You start 5-0, you lose to A&M in overtime. The loss hurt, but you felt like, you're not going to beat Alabama. You're not going to beat Alabama. But you're a 10-2 team. All you have left is South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and I couldn't even fucking tell you. Probably Austin Peay was our homecoming opponent, some team like that. That's all you have left. So take your butt kicking from Alabama. It is what it is. And then go. So the loss didn't hurt that much. You thought we won the East, whatever. You lose South Carolina, and it's like, well, what is this? We're imploding. But then you feel like, well, that loss isn't terrible. You can still win the East because Florida's not going to beat LSU, which, of course, ended up happening anyway. But then, the loss to Vanderbilt was detrimental. I wanted him fired. I wanted Jones out. I don't care who to be the interim coach for Wisconsin or Nebraska, for the Music City Bowl. The year before that, 2015, the Oklahoma loss stung, but it was a heavyweight fight, and you're like, okay, we're a good team. We're a good team who can, you lost to an out-of-conference team who might be in the playoffs, which, surely enough they were. No, they went the next year, but either way, they sure made the Sugar Bowl. But then the next week you go and you lose, you blow that 13-point lead to Florida. That was demoralizing. The rest of the season, obviously every game matters to me, but the season was lost at that point. So, losing a rival sucks. Being upset, Georgia State, obviously, I was furious. But, it's like, okay, you dropped one. It sucks. You're going to be the laughing stock, but you're that team that got upset. Now reset and go forward. And then we lost BYU and everything fell apart anyway. But, it really just depends where it falls and who it is.
Yeah, I can feel that. Yeah, for me, mine's more so about how it is, I guess, more so than who it is. Like, who it is definitely plays a role in it after like Georgia Southern, which just yeah. But to me, the ones that come down to the Texas A&M and LSU games in 2020, the games that come down to the final drive and you throw a pick or you miss a field, those are the ones to where just the rest of the week I'm thinking about, man, if we had only stopped them on 3rd and 2 here, yeah, those are the more, to me, it's always the more so of how it happens versus who it is. But yeah, it hurts regardless.
Well, extremely unfortunately for me, that doesn't happen often. Doesn't happen often. Tennessee has been a team who wins the close games or beats the hell out of opponents that they're supposed to beat. And then the teams that are better, I mean, it feels like no matter how bad we are, unless we're just really bad and we're below everybody, we're always on a tier by ourselves. Where it's like the teams you're better than, you're better than. You're beating them, you're whooping them, whatever. And the teams that are better than you are beating the shit out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the lines have obviously gotten blurred in the past few years with Florida slipping down and Georgia kind of stepping up. I agree with that though. Like, it feels like you guys have always been better than the Missouri, South Carolina, Vandy, usually Kentucky, but up until
Not usually. 3 times in my lifetime have they won a game. 3 times in my dad's lifetime have they won a game. It's always a couple upsets, fine, but we are a better team than them. Better program, all of it.
I mean, that's fair. We've lost to Kentucky 3 times in my lifetime as well, but it just happens to be 3 out of the past 5 years. So, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm as a Florida fan, I'm having to learn to accept this. It's painful that we live in a world now to where Kentucky and Tennessee aren't foregone conclusions. And it's a tough pill to swallow. I think I'm only going to take this medicine maybe not too much longer. But the fact that we haven't separated ourselves while Georgia has completely blown past everybody else in the East, I feel like now it's like Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, and this 3-way suck of mediocrity, and then everybody else. But this year, you guys are breaking the trend. And that's what matters. You guys are breaking through the glass ceiling.
I'm not
glass
ready.
Ceiling. You're what?
I'm not ready for that. I'm going to Athens.
Oh boy. You ready to get barked at?
I shouldn't go. Because the chances of me going to jail in Athens increase exponentially versus anywhere else. For the reason you just mentioned, getting barked at. But I'll be there. I won't be in the stadium because I'm not paying $700 for a ticket.
Yeah.
But I will be in Athens. And if we lose, I'll probably fight. And if we win, I'll definitely fight. And it'll be what it is.
And if we win, I'll definitely fight. Okay.
It's a hell of a plan.
I mean, here's the thing. If you lose, I got to get barked at, and I got to see how long I can keep up with that. If I win, they got to see how long they can put up with me. And it won't be. It won't be very long.
I don't know how long I can put up with you. No, just kidding.
Hey, look, we get it. Kate won't come on. Kate can't hardly get in the chat with me for more than 5 minutes on Twitter. After about 3 replies, she's over it all. She left the group that one time.
She did. That's true.
She left the group.
She ain't cut out for it.
I'll talk shit when I'm down, but buddy, I'm gonna talk shit when I'm up. I'm gonna talk shit when I'm up.
You're gonna sing "Glory, Glory" with them in Athens.
When we win, I will. I'll be the one out there as we win. I'm gonna be the one out there singing "Glory, Glory," walking out to all them, just all of them questioning themselves. Hey, can we go? Can we punch that motherfucker? I'll be that guy. I'm fine with it.
So when we hear about a belligerent fan getting assaulted outside of Sanford Stadium,
Won't know
we
who it
we,
was.
we got to put out an APB from that.
Yeah. Especially if we win and you don't hear from me on the Twitter chat message, something's happened and it's not good. It
I'm
was a
not.
little different with Alabama because I was in the stadium and I had to get out my 5 mile walk back to my car, or back to where I was getting picked up, and let everybody know that I was fine and having a great time. But in Georgia, if we win and you don't hear from me pretty quickly, something's gone terribly wrong.
Well, all right then. Good to know. Good to know.
All right. Well, before we break and call it a night, you want to talk about basketball for a minute?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Let's give it a 5 minute. We'll save some for next week. Give me a quick overview of your team. How you feeling?
Okay, men's side, I have no freaking idea how to feel, but apparently the coaches think that we're top 7 worthy, so top half, I'll take that. Without Q, I don't know, but apparently we have like 8 newcomers, 7 newcomers, something like that are supposed to be really good. So we shall see. On the women's side, I'm really excited about our new coach, but I'm gonna miss Gary Blair, even though his last couple seasons were not his best, but that's okay.
I need 1 second to respond to Field of Streams real quick. Fuck the 17 penalties. Fuck the turnover. Fuck missed field goal. Try getting Keely Ringo's bum ass from getting burnt by the best wide receiver in college football when he gets back in Big Said Tillman, and then you find somebody who's going to run with Jalen Hyde. I ain't worried about none of that shit. You come prepared or you going to get your ass beat, Georgia. We don't need the penalties. We don't need the fumbles. We don't need the whatever it is. You come with your A game defensively, or you can't keep up with us. Stetson Bennett is a loser. He's a mid-tier quarterback. He's worse than Jake Fromm, who didn't make it, with a better supporting cast, and he's a bum. Don't get in a shootout. You won't win it. Your defense better show up to play.
Well, okay.
Now, when it comes to basketball, I think Josiah James took a big step last year. You've seen now that he's comfortable with the ball in his hand at the end of games. That's great because so many of the teams that were good but not great at Tennessee, Admiral was like that. We didn't really. Kenny Chandler wasn't great with that. The year before that, when it was Keon and Jaden Springer, nobody was great at that. Josiah's good at that. Zakai Ziegler's the best defending guard in the SEC upcoming this year. Oscar Sheboy can be as good as he wants. 7'2" Euros Plavsic is going to dunk all over his ass the whole game. We have the best coach in the SEC. You can argue it's Calipari. Look at the talent, and look what we still do to him every fucking year. All right, we own Kentucky now. Kentucky is the second best program since Rick Barnes entered the SEC. Tennessee would be first. All right, so we're just going to keep going with that. Vescovi's hitting the 3 ball well. Jaden Phillips is committed, so we've got ourselves an athletic big guy. Back-to-back SEC champs, calling it now. And we're going to add the regular season this year, too.
See, we jumped topics too soon. We got our commenters. They'll have to join us next week when we can talk some football again. We're just wrapping up. Yeah, Stetson should have chosen an alternative career, but we'll see how it works out for him. I'm pretty excited for Florida basketball for the first time in a while. I feel like 2020 we had a chance to be pretty special, and then, or excuse me, 2021, and then Keontae went down. Just was a bad year all around for us. we somehow managed to convince and trick Georgia into taking our coach off our hands, and they paid us $1 million to take Mike White off our hands. So we got Todd Golden coming in. I'm super pumped for him. Georgia fans, they only know one sport. Should have known, but I think that Colin Castleton's going to be a stud. We're going to have to see how we go with the new system with Golden. We're going to shoot a lot more threes. Going to hopefully play better offense. But we came in 7th, which I think is pretty fair. I think we have higher upside than that, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for basketball for the first time in a couple of years at least, because I'm just really excited about the new scheme we're going to be having.
I think this is the year for Buzz Williams to basically put up or shut up, because the A&M brought Buzz Williams in, and it was supposed to be like, oh, everything's great. We're going to have Buzz and Schloss and Jimbo, and we're going to have the top 3 coaches in the SEC for all for like as a trio. And I was like, okay, Schloss took the team to Omaha, which if you would have told me at the beginning of last year that we were going to go to Omaha, okay, cool. Jimbo is, well, he's Jimbo, and we're recruiting at a high level, and hopefully we can turn that into wins next year. If not, that's a whole nother argument. But Buzz has yet to show that they can do anything. Well,
I could simply not imagine not having the 3 best coaches in the 3 major sports in college.
You know what? I have opinions about Tennessee baseball, but I won't.
That one's not even worth responding to.
Well, when we get to baseball season, I'm ready. I'm ready, because we ain't going nowhere.
Definitely not going to win the
You're
College
not
World Series.
You're not going to Omaha, that's for sure.
That is a correct assessment.
That's fine. Ole Miss got knocked down, came back and won it. Just watch out.
All right, I'm just gonna let you believe that you're going to Omaha.
Well, I just say when we do baseball, we'll get a super fan in here with a team who's beat Tennessee once in the last 2 years.
I don't know. When was the last time we played Tennessee in baseball?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. I think we play this year, though.
Huh?
I think we play this year, though.
Good.
I think. I have to go back and look, but I'm almost positive.
We played 2 years ago when it became evident y'all were firing your coach. I think we came down there and swept y'all.
Oh, yeah.
And then we swept Florida in their brand new stadium.
Yeah, that felt good.
And then we took them out for the SEC championship. That was fun. Their all-worldly coach talking shit to Drew Gilbert, walking him, and then him hitting a fucking dinger the next at bat. We can wait on baseball. So I know I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, we gotta wait, give it a couple months.
Now I gotta confirm that we play. I have to confirm we play Tennessee before I do anything else, because I'm like,
We didn't play you last year. I've got to imagine we do this year. Is Field of Streams a Georgia fan or an Ole Miss fan? What's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, they go with whatever team's on top at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, he you know, he had something come up.
That's a good question, Field of Streams. Where is the Bama guy this week? He had a whole lot to say, and he has some extra things to say about us being a poverty program with trash fan base and players, as people are shooting each other over the game down there in Tuscaloosa, and as their wide receiver is smacking our fans in the face running off the field because he can't handle a loss. That's a good question, Field of Streams. Where is Dakota Cox? Where you at, buddy?
All right, we play Tennessee in March, at the end of March, right before Texas comes to town. So we go to Tennessee, and then Texas comes to town, and then then Ole Miss comes to town. So that'll be a fun stretch.
I'm just ready to go down to LSU. We retired Paul Maneri 2 years ago. It's time to shut those motherfuckers up one more time.
Hey, I'm gonna be all on board for that. I'll root for the Vols for that. I will not wear orange.
I think we broke Ethan.
No, I'm here. I'm getting sidetracked. My brain is fried after too much football talk. Okay. Well, I got to wrap it up. It's past my bedtime.
It's bedtime, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, so Matt, good seeing you. You guys had a great victory. I am still holding out hope on my 9-3 bet, but you'll have to join us on Field of Streams when we sing Rocky Top if you guys beat Georgia.
Absolutely, I'll be there.
You got a couple of Georgia fans and a Florida fan. Had a Clemson guy sing it for you guys, so we at least pay our debts. If,
So we got Georgia, Florida, and Clemson on that podcast.
Sometimes, mostly, so they kind of split it up. They have 2 Tennessee guys who do a Tennessee one, 2 Georgia guys who do a Georgia one. Then you have like me, Shelby, an Arkansas fan, the Clemson fan, and we're mostly just in a group chat. And then we pop onto the stream every so often, mostly because you only want to be barked at for so long before you realize that it's time to put them down. But the Tennessee guys, they'd probably love to have you on. You'd fit right in.
I just saw Field of Streams comment that I need to join Very Orange. I'm in. I'm all in.
He's
Y'all
all
let me
in.
know. Y'all let me know. I got shit to talk, and I'll talk shit with and to anyone that wants it.
He will, and he'll never shut up.
It won't happen.
All right. Well, I think that does it for me tonight. Y'all have a good one. Thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Thanks
We
again.
are out. Go Gators.
Go Vols.